Hi, I'm John Green, and welcome to Crash Course World History. Today we'll be talking about the most brutal, ruthless, and barbaric empire the world has ever known. What's that? We'll just be talking about the Dutch? Okay, fine. Today on Crash Course we'll be talking about the Dutch and their colonization of the New World and even some parts of the Old World. Let's begin today with the Sword of Fun Facts. O mystical blade, guide me to interesting, yet ultimately irrelevant, historical knowledge. Oh, I feel something coming. Did you know that the Netherlands was actually one of the first republics beginning in 1581? Now, you may not think that the Netherlands are the most powerful empire in the world, but...
You said but.
Oh, me from the past. How I wish murdering you wouldn't cause a universe-ending paradox. Anyway, back to the Netherlands. Now, the Netherlands colonized a few things in the New World, but what really brought in the cash was some of their colonies in the Old World in Asia, also known as the Dutch East Indies. These were very valuable because they had spices, and spices plus Europe equals massive dollar signs. Now then, in the New World... Ooh, Mr. Green, Mr. Green! Why do Europeans like spices? Yeah, that's a long story. The short version of it would be that Europeans thought these spices smelled and tasted really nice, so they were willing to pay a lot of money to get them. Yeah. The Netherlands colonies in the New World also brought in some income, but most of that was from raw resources like furs and timbers, etc. Now the Dutch, like the English, set up some deathly joint stock companies, such as the Dutch East India Company, and also, believe it or not, the Dutch West India Company. These joint stock companies were basically given free rein by their homelands to do whatever they want, basically meaning they became giant harbingers of death and lasers upon native inhabitants. In addition to these evil and diabolical joint stock companies, the Netherlands also used a system known as mercantilism, which just might be a vocab word, to govern the colonies. Mercantilism basically meant that the colonies could only export their goods to the homeland and could only buy goods from the homeland, essentially making them completely dependent upon the homeland. However, all this colonization was not peaceful. There were a few bloody wars fought in the name of claiming territory from other nations, as is the nature of Europeans. For example, the British saw New Amsterdam and thought, hey, we like that. That looks like a cool place. Let's kill a bunch of people so we can take it. And that's how it came to be known by its current name, New York. In addition to these wars, the Netherlands also... What? Could that be? It's the call! It's time for the thought bubble! Let's go! The Dutch weren't exactly European powerhouses when it came to the amount of land they claimed. So instead of focusing on building huge empires like the Spanish or the Portuguese, they focused on trading with the New World, which was actually a fairly decent investment. The Dutch made a very hefty profit from collecting goods such as tea, cloth, and spices in Asia and Indonesia, slaves from Africa, and fur and timber from the Americas. Timber was especially very mucho importante, as the Dutch were very skilled at making cheap ships. Now, along with these legitimate, legal, and happy ways, the Dutch earned their money. They also had a few illicit means known as privateers. Privateers were essentially pirates who received a special letter from the Netherlands, which was, in all essence, an agreement saying, you guys can plunder other nations as much as you want, we won't interfere, as long as you give us a share of your plunder. So they weren't exactly the nicest people you've ever met. Oh, hi there, I was just waiting for the thought bubble to end. So, the Dutch, as I've already hinted at, had a slightly different method of colonization from other European superpowers. It was almost like they were more so just trading with the colonies than actually colonizing and conquering them. However, this didn't stop them from dispersing their culture and their religion to their colonies. For example, New Amsterdam became a very prominent haven for Protestants, Anglicans, and essentially anyone who was a Christian, yet not a Catholic. Now, due to the nature of Protestantism, their conversions were a lot less forceful and deadly than Catholic conversions, which, ironically, meant they worked a whole lot better. Keeping with these other various aspects...
Mr. Green!
Hear about the two peanuts walking down the alley? One was assaulted.
During the mid-17th century, the Dutch were at the height of their power during what was creatively referred to as the Dutch Golden Age. However, eventually they began to lose power by losing their colonies through wars with England, Spain, and other people. The Dutch weren't very good at getting along with other powers and thusly fell from power. Now, would you look at the time? It's time for the open letter. But first, let's see what's in the secret compartment. Alright, secret compartment, what do you got? Ooh! An empty bag of cookies. Now then, for the open letter. An open letter to John Green. Dear John Green, I have a very deep and heartfelt confession to make. At the beginning of this video, I spoke these words. Hi, I'm John Green, and welcome to Crash Course. Well, it is time for the truth to be revealed. I am not John Green. I have never been John Green. I am a flawed imitation, a mockery of you, John Green. I apologize. What have I done? Who am I? Who am I? I'm Jean Valjean. Best wishes, John Green. So, in summary, Dutch, and for that matter European in general, colonization of the New World and some parts of the Old World, gave Europe access to a lot of goods that were previously inaccessible to them. This, for one thing, allowed them into trade with a lot of the Asian countries. This leads me to wonder, what would have happened if the Asian countries were the ones to do the colonizing? I mean, if that were the case, Europeans never would have gotten access to many of those goods, and either would have had to fight their way into trade through war, or just be excluded from it. The world could be a very different place, both the Eastern Hemisphere, and, for that matter, what would the Western Hemisphere be like? Well, at the end of the day, it's really not more than food for thought. The fact of the matter remains that Europeans were the colonizers. However, it can be interesting to think about. Bye, guys.